unfortunately, if it stays this way, he wants out. Dominique, I can't blame him. I'm going to start with you. Should Wentz worry about his NFL future at this point?
No, absolutely not. I think that his future in Philly is definitely in jeopardy, if not over. Like there is no future there for them. I think they've made it quite clear that he was a big part of the problem, and they're going to go with Hurts going forward, I suspect. But anybody who has the resume that he's had in a league that's always thirsty for quarterbacks is going to get another opportunity. And if you look at next season, there are teams with a lot of cap space who will need quarterbacks who won't be at the top of the draft. You could think of the Colts as a situation if the Rivers thing doesn't continue to pan out, which I suspect Rivers will be retiring very soon. You have Frank Reich there, who is familiar with Carson Wentz. You can think of the Patriots, another situation. They're going to have a ton of cap space and probably going to need a quarterback of the future. And Washington's another situation where I guess it's in division, so it might be tough for a trade to happen. But these are teams that I think would it'd be worth considering Carson Wentz. Like, he's not going to be out of the league. He's not going to be relegated to being a backup. There are enough arrogant offensive coordinators and head coaches, or confident, depending on how you look at it, that believe that they can get the best out of Carson Wentz. And there are enough quarterbacks who are as bad as Carson Wentz, but don't have the high heights that Carson have reached. So I think it's worth a chance. The Eagles are going to have to eat a large amount of that cap number. So wherever Wentz ends up going, it's not going to be necessarily as expensive as it looks on paper. So I think that Wentz should be encouraged. I know it's hard to be in this moment, but he's going to get another opportunity, hopefully in another situation. What's up, Max?
Didn't you play in the NFL and go to Harvard? What kind of
just a little bit.
I have no words. Yes, I do. Look, here's the bottom line. You say, well, Reich is familiar with Carson Wentz. The more familiar you are with Carson Wentz, the less you're going to want him. Dominique, we thought Peterson was a bad coach. I thought he should be gone. Peterson's an excellent coach. Look, you see Jalen Hurts, right? Had the most chunk plays, the most touchdowns in the first half, et cetera, et cetera. Since Nick Foles. In either Nick Foles in 2017, I think, touchdowns and a half. Nick Foles in 2018, chunk plays. I mean, even Josh McCown in the playoffs, a 40-year-old on a bum wheel, produced the same results as Carson Wentz. They lost to Seattle by the same score in the playoff game that they did in Week 12 with Wentz. No, it's not. Remember Wentz is playing behind such a bad offensive line, supposedly? Yeah, but they're 11th in win percentage and block rate and pass protection and in run blocking, they're 4th and this and that. No. Do the eyeball test. Jalen Hurts seemed to do fine. Jalen Hurts seemed to do just fine. Not getting sacked left and right, not throwing interceptions. The chains are moving. The offense looks good. It looked good with Nick Foles. Remember when they were dead in the water 5 and 6, and they caught fire, and then they won in the playoffs? Carson Wentz, and then if that's not bad enough, Carson Wentz statistically the worst starter in the league this year, and you saw the downward trajectory second half of last year, which is why I was waving and jumping up and down about it. As if that's not bad enough, Dominique, he leaks, if it was he who leaked, and do you think it was really the team? How does that serve them? He leaks the day of this kid's second start, Jalen Hurts' second start, that, I want to leave if I can't start. What? He's a bad teammate. And on top of all of that, you want him in the building with his bloated contract, his arrogance, his not taking direction, his throwing interceptions, bad decision-making. By the way, hasn't moved the same since the injury, forces things, clearly doesn't take coaching. You want that dude at $50 million in your building?
You haven't said one lie, and I agree with all of that. You've made a great argument for why people shouldn't give Carson Wentz another chance. I was one of the first off of the Carson Wentz bandwagon, in part because I saw this regression coming, and also in part because I love arguing with Dan Orlovsky, and he was telling me that Wentz is better than Dak, and I just wanted to get off the bandwagon. So trust me, I am not a Carson Wentz apologist. Like, I am not saying that he deserves another chance or he's good enough to get another chance. But you mentioned my experiences in the places I've been and the place I've gone to school and the jobs that I've had before. That experience, watching the NFL, is the only experience that I need. I don't need to have played in NFL or gone to a fancy school. I've watched the NFL my whole life. Name a time when a first-round pick who had at least one great season in the NFL does not get a second chance. Like that is the nature of this league. I don't know. You are asking me to predict something that has never happened in the history of this league. A first-round, tall,
Dominique,
strong quarterback like Carson Wentz, who also has a good season to point to, is not going to get a second chance to start in this league. That is absurd. That's the craziest thing.
He has. Well, you're changing. Yes. If you want to say, will he start a game again in his NFL career or several games? That's different than should he worry about his future. His days as a starter, like here's a season or two where you're the starting quarterback, are done. He will never get through the season as a starting quarterback for another team. And I'm not talking about injury. I'm talking about he's not good. He's not good enough to do it, and he has none of the intangibles.
Somebody will enter the season with him as a starter.
Tough. He's physically tough.
We could I bet you next year.
We'll figure
out his future.
Max has been consistent. This is the land of second chances, everybody. When we come back here on First Take, plenty of stars are looking for their first title, but you're about to find out why